My name's Davina. I served in Bosnia with the Army Air Corps, and I did in total 4.5 years. It wasn't until years later and I started to get silly things like suddenly loud noises would affect me, and I just feel like it's like somebody's got me by the throat and I couldn't breathe, and I thought, this is very strange. I don't really understand why this is happening. And I noticed that crossing bridges became a bit of a worry, and I started to overthink crossing a bridge, whether it was driving or walking, whether it was under a bridge. It didn't matter. I started to feel myself getting anxious about the idea of it, and I was like, whoa, I don't understand this. Until I actually talked about it with a psychologist, and then I understood that actually I was having panic attacks. And it was triggered from things like, Bosnia, where they had landmines everywhere. Strangely enough, walking through woods and everything could trigger things like, silly things like even a spider silk in the sun, glistening in the sun that looked like a tripwire, which could trigger a landmine. And then you realise, actually, I'm just walking in the park with my dog and my husband and my friend, and just what's wrong with me? I couldn't understand what was wrong with me. Again, it was when I was in therapy, I was when I started to unravel. It's silly because when I first started going into therapy, I thought, I'm going, oh my God, are you alright? You look like you want to kill somebody. And I used to find that it's almost insulting. I want you to look like I'm going to kill someone. What's wrong with you? One thing to say to someone, but not realise, and I'm staring, like the 1,000-yard stare kind of thing. And, lots of little things like that started to just make me realise, yeah, there's something not right with me. I met another veteran who had been in Afghanistan, and he was hit by a roadside bomb, and the poor guy could hardly talk. He had half a lung, no eye, missing eye, poor thing. And we would go to the same outreach groups. And he said to me one day, he goes, how you doing, Davina? You alright? And I went, yeah, fine. How are you? He went, look at me. Everyone knows I'm not fine, but nobody knows that you're not fine. No one can see your scars because they're all in here. He said, but that doesn't mean you haven't got any. It hit home then. And I thought, that's when I started to accept, I don't think I'm right. Everyday challenges, some things can be trickier than others. It could be anything. One of the things that I find is bridges are always an issue. It could be as silly as we think. Whether I'm going underneath a bridge, going over a bridge, I feel that pang of anxiety. Just because part of me thinks, I hope this doesn't blow up. With woods, it was always something we had to avoid in Bosnia. Always stick on hard stand, and you could never go on grass. Sometimes, even the silliest thing like a spider silk glistening in the sunlight, it can look like a wire that could be attached to an anti-personnel mine. That was a lot of things that we were trained to watch out for. Those moments, it brings you right back to being in Bosnia again. Combat stress really helped me deal with everything. When combat stress taught me all about fight or flight, I stopped punishing myself for running through a landmine field. Combat stress showed me how to be kind to myself, and that was the biggest gift anyone could ever give me. You've got to get help. It's not a weakness. It's not about being pathetic or weak, because I know how that feels. It's not about, no matter how much you feel embarrassed or ashamed, you've got nothing to be embarrassed or ashamed about.